to me like that? Who do you think you are? I don't want any trouble. Please step back. People like you always act so superior. Go on, say something now.
Dr. Maya Thompson, 49, drove her navy blue sedan into the lot, eyes scanning for a spot. She had just left the courthouse downtown, another long day, another stack of cases behind her, and all she wanted was to pick up dinner and head home. She wore her quiet power like a tailored suit, calm, poised, untouchable. A black woman whose voice could command a courtroom and soften a child's tears in the same hour. Before we dive in, tell us, where are you watching from? Drop your country or state in the comments below. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because what's coming next is absolutely unbelievable, and you won't want to miss stories like this. As she rounded the final row, she spotted it, a space, close to the front, like a small reward for a long day. She flicked on her turn signal and began to turn. But just as her tires lined up, a silver SUV swung in from the opposite side, fast and reckless, the kind of move that screams entitlement without words. Maya hit the brakes, heart thudding once, hard. The SUV slid into the space she'd been about to take, the driver's window rolling down with practiced smugness. A white woman in her late 30s leaned out, sunglasses perched high, a smirk tugging at her lips. "What, didn't see you there?" she called, voice syrupy but sharp. Maya took a breath. "It's all right, you can have it," she said, steady and polite. The woman tilted her head, squinting like she'd heard something wrong. "Oh, I see how it is, being nice because you think it makes you look good." She laughed. "Typical." Maya frowned slightly. "Excuse me?" The woman snorted. "Never mind. You people are always so dramatic." The words dropped like oil on water, spreading fast, staining everything they touched. Maya didn't move, didn't speak. She just put her car in reverse, the soft click of the gear shift somehow louder than the world around her. She backed up and drove to another row, finding a spot further down. She'd learned long ago that not every battle deserved her energy. But as she turned off the engine and stepped out, she heard it again. The same voice, closer now, sharper. "Hey, I'm talking to you!" The woman, later everyone would learn her name was Karen Miller, though that wasn't the part anyone remembered, was marching toward her, keys jingling in one manicured hand, her phone in the other. Maya glanced over her shoulder, expression unreadable. "Is there a reason you're following me?" "Yeah," Karen said, her tone wobbling between outrage and self-righteousness. "You gave me that look back there." "What look?" "That smug, uppity look, like you're better than me." People nearby started turning. A man loading groceries slowed his cart. A mother with her child paused mid-step. Phones came out, quiet and gleaming, like modern-day witnesses. Maya stood still, her voice low. "Ma'am, I don't know what you're trying to start, but I suggest you stop." Karen took another step closer. "Oh, you suggest I stop?" she mocked. "What are you going to do, lecture me? You think that fancy attitude's going to save you?" Maya blinked once, measured. "Please step back." "Oh, don't tell me what to do. You don't get to order people around just because you think you're somebody. This is America, sweetheart. We don't all bow down to—" She didn't finish. A security camera above the lot whirred faintly, catching the moment when she jabbed a finger into Maya's shoulder. The air changed. A ripple of gasps spread. Someone muttered, "She touched her." Maya didn't react. She didn't raise her hand, didn't flinch. She just exhaled, long, slow, steady. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out her phone. Her fingers moved calmly, dialing.
Karen rolled her eyes. "Oh, what now? You calling your little friends?" Maya said nothing. She lifted the phone to her ear, speaking with quiet authority. "Yes, this is Judge Thompson. I need a unit at the Green Mart parking lot. There's been an incident." The words hit the air like thunder, wrapped in silk. Karen blinked. "Wait, what did you just say?" Maya looked at her, unblinking. "I said, I'm calling it in." Karen let out a laugh, nervous, loud, brittle. "Judge? Please, you don't look like any judge I've ever seen."
Maya ended the call, tucked her phone away, and said simply, "That's not surprising." By now, a small crowd had formed. The murmur of whispers grew around them, a low hum of disbelief and cell phone recordings. A young man in a baseball cap whispered, "Yo, she really just shoved a judge?" Karen heard it and scoffed. "Oh, don't you start. She's lying. People like her always play the victim. Watch, she'll cry about racism or something." Maya's voice was barely above a whisper. "You've said enough." And then the sirens came. The blue and red lights washed over the scene, bouncing off chrome and car windows, turning the ordinary parking lot into a stage. Two officers stepped out, one younger, one older. They scanned the crowd, then their eyes found Maya. "Judge Thompson," the older officer said, his tone respectful, almost relieved. "Are you all right, ma'am?" Karen's mouth opened. Her brain seemed to short-circuit mid-sentence. "Wait, what? Judge?" Maya nodded slightly. "I'm fine, Officer Daniels, but I'd like to make a statement." The younger cop turned toward Karen. "Ma'am, we're gonna need to talk to you." Karen stammered, No, you don't understand. She started it. I didn't know who she was." The officer's expression hardened. "Doesn't matter who she is. You assaulted someone." Karen's voice cracked. But she's lying. I didn't mean to." Maya turned toward her, calm but firm. Intent doesn't erase impact. The officer began to read her rights, his voice echoing faintly off the hot pavement. Phones recorded every word. The digital age of accountability in full swing. Karen's face drained of color. She whispered, "This can't be happening. I didn't know." Maya looked at her, eyes steady, but not cruel. "That's the problem. You didn't know, and you didn't care to." As they led Karen toward the cruiser, a hush fell over the parking lot. Somewhere, a baby cried in the distance. The moment felt heavy, not because of the arrest, but because everyone had just witnessed something bigger than a parking lot argument. They'd seen pride collide with grace, hate collide with dignity, and lose. Maya stood there for a moment longer, the warm breeze brushing against her face. She could have walked away satisfied, vindicated even, but she didn't. She walked to her car, opened the door, then paused. She turned back toward the crowd, toward the lenses, the faces, the silence, and said quietly, "This is why we must stay calm even when we are disrespected. Power doesn't come from shouting. It comes from standing firm in who you are." The bystanders didn't cheer, they didn't clap, they just watched her drive away, the blue sedan disappearing into the rhythm of Atlanta traffic, leaving behind a story that would replay in that parking lot for months to come. The story should have ended there. A confrontation, a lesson learned, a moment of justice witnessed. But life has a way of turning ripples into waves, especially in a world wired for instant judgment. By the next morning, the video had hit the internet. One of the bystanders had uploaded it to TikTok with the caption, "Racist woman attacks a judge, instant karma." It started with a few hundred views, then a few thousand. By noon, it was everywhere. News outlets picked it up, social media exploded, and the words "Judge Thompson" became a trending topic. Clips looped endlessly. The shove, the stunned faces, the calm poise of a woman who never raised her voice. Every frame dissected, every second analyzed. Some praised her composure. Others debated the details, because the internet never simply watches. It picks sides, forms opinions, shouts from behind screens. At her office the next day, Maya sat behind her desk, scrolling through her phone, the glow of notifications painting her face in soft light. She'd received hundreds of messages, support from strangers, respect from colleagues, even apologies from people who said they'd once thought staying calm was weakness. But amid the flood of love were the usual shadows, the doubters, the angry ones, the comments that said she was milking it or that she should have hit back. She sighed, locking the screen and setting the phone down. The law had taught her that justice wasn't about winning arguments. It was about restoring balance, even when the world wanted vengeance. A knock came at her door. It was Officer Daniels. He stepped in, hat in hand. "Morning, Judge. Thought you might want an update." Maya gestured for him to sit. "How's she doing?" He nodded slowly. "Karen Miller, released on bail last night, charged with misdemeanor assault and disorderly conduct. She's not taking it well. Reporters are outside her house." Maya closed her eyes briefly. Let them hound her for a day and they'll move on to someone else. The cycle always does. Daniels hesitated, then said quietly, "She asked if she could talk to you." Maya looked up. "She what?" "She said she wanted to apologize. Said she didn't know who you were or what she was doing. We can deny the request if you'd rather not talk." For a long moment, Maya said nothing. The courthouse clock ticked softly in the distance. Then she nodded once. "I'll tell her I'll see her, but not as a judge, as a person."
The meeting happened that afternoon in a quiet room at the precinct, neutral ground. The air felt thick with tension, not anger, but something rawer. Karen entered first, escorted by an officer. Gone were the sunglasses, the smirk, the sharpness. Her eyes were red, her face pale. She looked smaller somehow, as if arrogance had been a coat she'd taken off and lost. Maya stood as she entered. "Miss Miller." Karen's voice cracked. "Judge Thompson, I don't even know where to start." "Start with the truth," Maya said softly. Karen swallowed hard. I was angry, stressed. My mom's been sick, my job's on the line, and I took it out on you. I didn't mean what I said." Maya tilted her head slightly. "Didn't mean, or didn't think you'd face consequences for it?" Karen's lip trembled. "Both." There was a silence heavy enough to feel, the kind that forces reflection. Maya folded her hands. "Do you know how many times people like me have to decide between peace and pride in a single day? Between walking away or speaking up? You thought your words were just insults, but they were reminders of what we still fight every day." Tears welled in Karen's eyes. "I was wrong. I see that now. I can't believe I did that." Maya nodded. That's where change starts, when disbelief becomes awareness. Karen looked up, voice shaking. "Will you forgive me?" Maya took a long breath. "Forgiveness isn't about letting you off the hook. It's about not letting your hate live in me." Karen nodded, tears spilling freely now. "Thank you." "Don't thank me," Maya said. "Do better. For the next person you meet. For your children if you have them. For yourself." When the meeting ended, Karen walked out quietly, escorted but lighter somehow, humbled by consequence and grace in equal measure. That evening, Maya drove home as the city lights blurred past her windows. On the radio, a local host discussed the viral video. Listeners called in to share their thoughts. Some called her a hero. Others said she was just doing what anyone decent should. But one caller's words made her pause. a young man's voice, trembling but sincere. "I showed that video to my mom. She's been angry her whole life because of what people said to her. But when she saw that judge stay calm, she told me maybe peace isn't weakness, maybe it's power." Maya smiled softly, eyes glistening in the glow of the dashboard. That, right there, was worth more than headlines. She parked in her driveway, the sky deepening into twilight, crickets beginning their nightly chorus. For the first time all week, she felt still. Not triumphant, not vindicated, just still. Inside her home, she placed her briefcase down, made a cup of tea, and stepped onto the back porch. The evening air was cool, forgiving. She looked up at the sky, endless, dark, full of quiet stars, and whispered, "Thank you." Sometimes the universe answers injustice not with thunder, but with echoes of understanding. The following week, the story faded from trending lists, as all viral tales do. But in homes and offices, classrooms and conversations, people remembered it. They talked about restraint, dignity, and what true strength looks like. Karen Miller disappeared from public view for a while. She deleted her social media, moved out of her neighborhood, and started volunteering at a community center downtown, one that offered legal aid to low-income families. When people recognized her, she didn't deny who she was. She told the story herself. She owned it, ugly parts and all. And in that quiet redemption, something shifted. Not for the internet, not for the cameras, but for her. Months later, on a humid summer day, Maya was leaving the courthouse when she saw a familiar face near the entrance. Karen stood there, holding a small folder of paperwork, nervous but smiling faintly. "Judge Thompson?" she said. "I didn't want to bother you. I just wanted to thank you again for what you said that day. It changed me." Maya looked at her, reading the sincerity in her voice. "I'm glad," she said. "Keep changing. That's the hardest part, doing it when nobody's watching." Karen nodded, ears glistening. "I am. I promise." And then she walked away. Not proud, not perfect, but different. Maya stood there for a moment, watching her go. The world around them humming with ordinary life. Car horns, footsteps, laughter. The same city that had once been a stage for humiliation, now whispered with quiet grace. Because that's how growth happens, not with fireworks, but with footsteps. Not overnight, but over time. That night, as Maya sat by her window, she thought about how everything could have gone differently. If she'd yelled back, if she'd struck out, if she'd let anger drive her instead of control. And she realized something she'd known all along. The real power isn't in how loud you are. It's in how deeply you can stay rooted in peace while the storm rages around you.
She lifted her phone and typed a message on her social media page, not for applause, but for reflection. "I didn't stay calm because I'm fearless. I stayed calm because I refused to let hate teach me how to act. Strength isn't about dominance, it's about discipline." It went viral again, not because of outrage, but because people recognized truth when they heard it. A truth the world often forgets. So if you've ever found yourself face to face with hate, remember this: the loudest person isn't always the strongest. Sometimes the strongest one is the person who takes the hit, breathes deep, and walks away still whole. Because dignity doesn't shout, it stands. And in that standing, it wins. So here's your moment, right now, reading this. Ask yourself, would you have stayed calm like Judge Thompson, or would you have let rage speak for you? If you believe strength means grace under fire, drop a heart. If you've ever learned the hard way that respect isn't owed, it's earned, share this story. Because maybe, just maybe, someone out there needs to be reminded that the real victory isn't in the shouting, it's in the silence that follows, when the truth finally speaks for itself. Subscribe to our channel for more stories.